unearned fame and fortune are far more destructive than they might appear. And right now, there's no organization on the planet that proves this point more than the WNBA. The league just posted its highest average game viewership in 24 years. They're bringing in massive new sponsorships, at least by the league standard. They're selling out arenas, which used to be unheard of for the WNBA. And this should be a dream come true for everybody involved in the WNBA.
Ever stop to think why a breakout phenom like Caitlin Clark is catching heat in the WNBA? It's not what you'd expect. The league is thriving. Viewership is surging, player perks are better than ever, and women's basketball is finally owning the spotlight. But just as the momentum built, a storm of unexpected criticism erupted. This time not from fans or rivals, but from within. WNBA veterans themselves.
Executives to the players to the reporters who, for their sins in a past life, have been cursed with the job of covering a women's basketball league. Everyone should be overjoyed. But there's a big problem. All of this success, every bit of it, is due to the presence of one player in the league, and that is a generational talent named Caitlin Clark, who of course you've heard of, and still probably the only WNBA player whose name you...
Matt Walsh isn't just raising an eyebrow. He's calling out what he sees as blatant hypocrisy, and he's bringing the receipts to back it up. With hard data, sharp commentary, and a willingness to name names, Walsh is diving headfirst into one of the WNBA's most heated controversies. And trust us, it's not just surface-level drama. Behind the scenes, some players are voicing opinions that could shake the league's foundation. Now imagine this. Caitlin Clark steps onto the court, and suddenly, everything changes. Ratings soar, the spotlight shifts. She's not just turning heads, she's creating a cultural tidal wave in women's basketball. But with every wave comes resistance, and the backlash, it's louder than anyone expected.
This is the reason the WNBA just won the lottery. Without Caitlin Clark, nobody cares about any of these players or the league. With her, most people still don't care, but a lot more people care than did before. And everybody knows that, right? Therefore, everyone in the league, other than Caitlin Clark, is doing exactly what so many lottery winners do. They're allowing all of their worst personality traits to surface because they just can't help them.
The WNBA is riding an unprecedented wave of momentum. Viewership has exploded, shattering records and leaving league execs in disbelief. Packed arenas now pulse with energy, turning every game into a high-stakes spectacle. It's a scene that, just a few years ago, felt like a distant dream. But now, it's reality. It's as if someone hit the fast-forward button and suddenly, women's basketball isn't just growing. It's dominating the spotlight and everyone wants a front row seat.
There are a lot of stories out there about lottery winners who go on to destroy their lives. Something like 70% of them supposedly go bankrupt within a few years. It's not hard to see how that would happen. When you give a lot of money and attention to a person who didn't earn any of it, that person doesn't suddenly change overnight. Instead, more often than not, all of their worst character traits are amplified 10 times over. And in many cases, that leads to a very public and humiliating collapse. This is a principle that doesn't just apply to individuals, it turns out. It applies to organizations.
With skyrocketing popularity comes serious cash. Major sponsorships are pouring in, and lucrative deals are stacking up like never before. It's as if the floodgates have burst open, and now everyone, from corporate giants to celebrity investors, wants a piece of the WNBA pie. Players are finally reaping the benefits with improved pay, perks, and newfound visibility. The league is gaining fans in places no one expected. But here's the curveball. Not everyone's thrilled. Beneath the surface of all this success, a quiet rumble of discontent is growing. And some players aren't staying silent.
There's been a lot of resentment in this league lately, in particular since the season began. And the thing about resentment, as we all know, is that it tends to fester over time. It gets worse and worse. That's exactly what we're seeing now.
It's a paradox that has fans and analysts alike scratching their heads. After years of pushing for visibility, respect, and growth, the WNBA is finally basking in the spotlight it long deserved. Yet some players appear unsettled, discontent, bubbling up just as the league hits its stride. Why now? That's the million-dollar question. Is it envy over Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise? Fear of being overshadowed in a rapidly changing landscape? Or is there a deeper tension simmering Behind the scenes, one that goes beyond fame and taps into identity, legacy, and the future of the game itself.
Race hysteria in the WNBA has somehow reached yet another inflection point. The league is currently in the midst of what really might be the single most contrived racism scandal, certainly in any professional sport, at least since the fake noose in Bubba Wallace's garage. Specifically, a bunch of WNBA players have come out claiming that they've been victimized by racial slurs and other forms of racist attacks. Like, a lot of players are claiming.
Picture this. The WNBA is soaring, riding an unprecedented wave of popularity, with packed arenas, surging viewership, and a spotlight brighter than ever. But just as the momentum builds, a sudden explosion of controversy rocks the league to its core. Accusations of racism emerge, bold, emotional, and deeply divisive, casting a shadow over the celebration. It's as if someone struck a match in a room filled with gasoline, igniting a firestorm that no one saw coming, but everyone's talking about.
Feel about what has happened over the past year with the W since you first came in to where it is now, and obviously the game has grown and there's new fans, but how do you appreciate the new fans without all the noise that's coming?
I appreciate the new fans that sit there and yell racial slurs at myself, my teammates, and the people that I play against. Because yeah, those might be opponents, but those are friends too. You know, they don't deserve that. So I don't appreciate the new fans. I think it's okay to do that.
Brittney Griner, one of the WNBA's most recognizable and influential stars, has come out swinging with a bold and unsettling revelation. She claims that some of the league's newest fans are crossing the line, hurling slurs from the stands during games.
That Brittney Griner was asked was about the massive growth of this league, which was dead in the water just a year ago and had been dead for its entire existence. And the reporter asked, "What do you think of all the new fans?" And like in any other context, when someone says, "What do you think of all the new fans that are coming in?" Usually it's, "Oh, it's great. We love how everybody is supporting the league and we're so grateful." None of that. Instead of some gratitude, some appreciation for the people who have saved the WNBA, who pay to come out to see bad players like Brittney Griner, instead of that, we get resentment.
But Griner isn't standing alone in this storm. Alyssa Thomas, another powerhouse and respected voice in the league, has stepped up with strong words of her own, echoing Griner's concerns and adding fuel to the growing fire. Her support isn't subtle. It's fierce, direct, and impossible to ignore.
Honestly, it's been a lot of nonsense. I think in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base. We had her face on a serious matter that happened in this world, and it's unacceptable, honestly. And there's no place for it, and we've been professional throughout the whole entire thing, but I've never been called the things that I've been called on social media, and there's no place.
Alyssa Thomas, an 11-year WNBA veteran who's battled through every era of the league, didn't mince words. Her voice carries weight, not just because of her longevity, but because she's earned the respect that comes with it. So when she echoed Brittney Griner's accusations, fans took notice. But almost immediately, questions started swirling. Something didn't quite add up. Enter Matt Walsh, a lightning rod for controversy and never one to stay silent. He began digging into the claims, raising doubts, and challenging the narrative. And he's not alone. More and more people are stepping forward, asking the same question. Are we really to believe that fans, many attending WNBA games for the very first time in decades, have suddenly flooded arenas with racism?
In other words, they're now accusing the people who have started showing up to WNBA games for the first time in more than 2 decades of being horrible racists.
Matt Walsh isn't one to hold back. He's calling these accusations for what he believes they are, completely fabricated. It's a daring statement, one that's raised more than a few eyebrows and sparked a firestorm of debate. But before jumping to conclusions, let's slow down and ask the real question. Why would players lie about something as serious as racism? That's the $1 million question that has fans and critics alike locked in a heated back and forth. Are they just trying to stir up drama? Or is there something deeper lurking behind the scenes? Something that might not be so obvious at first glance?
And the videos would be all over the internet. But those videos are not all over the internet. They're not anywhere on the internet. So instead, we have to take the player's word.
The situation is threatening to unravel the very fabric of the league. On one side, you have players voicing their pain and demanding immediate action, claiming they've been victims of hate. On the other side, skeptics like Matt Walsh are urging caution, calling for solid proof before jumping to conclusions. And then, right in the middle, are the fans, the sponsors, and the entire future of the WNBA, caught in a whirlwind of accusations, doubts, and uncertainty. With so much on the line, the pressure is mounting, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
Something about the answer makes sense, even in that context. I mean, why would that be the first thing that Griner mentions when the reporter asks about the fans? Why not say, well, the overwhelming majority of the fans are great people. I'm so happy that they're paying money, and I'm so grateful to have them. Like, why wouldn't you, even if this was happening, why wouldn't you start with?
Picture this. A packed arena, the crowd buzzing with excitement, every eye fixed on Caitlin Clark as she dominates the court. But then, in an instant, everything shifts. Clark hits the floor, clutching her face in agony. What just happened? Let's rewind to that game. Dejanay Carrington makes a swift move for the ball, and boom, Clark crumples to the ground. The arena goes silent, then erupts into a mix of gasps and boos. No foul is called. The referees let it slide. Meanwhile, social media explodes with questions. Was it intentional? A mere accident?
As everyone else has seen this angle. I'm calling her in, and I'm saying to her, I need answers.
Enter Christine Brennan, a seasoned USA Today reporter with years of experience under her belt. She's seen it all and knows exactly how to cut through the noise. So naturally, she does what reporters do best. She asks the hard questions. With no hesitation, Brennan goes straight to the source and asks Carrington about the incident, point blank.
You went and kind of swatted at Caitlin. Did you intend to hit her in the eye? And if so, could you just, or if not, either way, could you talk about what happened on that play?
Christine Brennan doesn't waste any time. She goes straight to the heart of the matter, asking Carrington with laser focus. When you went for that swat at Caitlin, was it intentional? Did you mean to hit her in the eye? And if not, can you walk us through what happened on that play? Carrington's response comes quickly, almost in disbelief. I honestly don't even know why I would try to hit anyone in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. No, I didn't intend to hit her at all. In fact, I didn't even realize I hit her. I was just trying to make a play on the ball.
Offensive. It's the bare minimum you'd expect under the circumstances. It's the kind of questions that reporters ask male athletes all the time. When there's a foul, when there's a scuffle, it's the same kind of questions. But Carrington immediately gets snippy and obnoxious in response. And then just for asking these questions, Brennan, who incidentally is one of the biggest champions of women's sports in the industry, is now getting dogpiled. In particular, the WNBA Players Association just put out one of the most demented statements imaginable.
At first glance, the question seems simple enough, but the backlash that followed was anything but. The WNBA Players Association didn't just take issue with Brennan's inquiry. They went nuclear. The response was swift, fiery, and unlike anything anyone expected.
We call BS to unprofessional members of the media like Christine Brennan. You are not fooling anyone. That so-called interview in the name of journalism was a blatant attempt to bait a professional athlete into participating in a narrative that is false and designed to fuel racist, homophobic, and misogynistic vitriol on social media. You cannot hide behind your tenure.
The WNBA Players Association didn't hold back, blasting Brennan for being unprofessional and accusing her of attempting to bait Carrington into constructing a false narrative.
We're at the point now that journalists can't even ask black players about fouls they commit against Caitlin Clark without being accused of racism and somehow also homophobia for asking the question. That's how much racism there is in the WNBA. Even asking questions is now racist, which I guess we already knew.
Whoa, all of this over asking about a single play. The backlash was intense. The Players Association didn't just criticize Brennan's question, they went after her journalistic integrity, even urging USA Today to reassess its ethical standards. But here's the thing. Asking about controversial plays is part of the job in sports journalism. It's routine in every other league, where reporters routinely ask about fouls and questionable calls. Yet in the WNBA, suddenly it's a line no one should cross. So what's so different here? Why is asking about a hit on a star player suddenly off limits?
You're going to see any of that on video or hear any of it, but just take their word for it. Take the WNBA's word for it. Take the media's word for it. Yet some WNBA players are still upset that the media isn't making an even bigger deal out of the fake racism scandal.
What does all of this mean for sports journalism and women's basketball? Are we entering an era where asking tough questions is off limits? Where every inquiry is dissected for hidden motives? This isn't just about one play or one question. It's about the evolving dynamic between players, the media, and fans. It's about transparency, accountability, and the very essence of sports reporting. As the dust begins to settle, one thing becomes painfully clear. Women's basketball stands at a crossroads. How the league responds to this growing tension could determine the future of both the sport and its coverage for years to come. Will it embrace open dialogue or tighten its grip on what can and can't be questioned?
I don't really get to stand up for myself. I don't really get to speak out on things just because I just try to ignore, and I just try to stand strong. Like, I've been through so much. I've seen so much. I've been attacked so many times. I've been sexualized.
Just when you thought the drama couldn't possibly get any hotter, enter Angel Reese and A'ja Wilson. These WNBA superstars are about to toss gasoline onto an already blazing fire. But here's the real twist. The media isn't just reporting on the chaos anymore. They're becoming part of the story itself. As the lines blur between reporters and the action, things are about to get even more unpredictable.
Angel Reese says the media should have done more to combat the ongoing issue of racism in women's basketball before it reached a boiling.
Let's take a moment to dive into Angel Reese's bold claims. She's calling out the media for profiting off her struggles, accusing them of spinning a villainous narrative around her. Can you believe it? Reese isn't holding back. She's demanding accountability and calling attention to how the media has twisted her story to fit their own agenda. It's a firestorm, and she's not backing down.
Reese, however, said her pleas for accountability and action have been repeatedly ignored. Quote, "The media has benefited from my pain and me being villainized to create a narrative," she wrote on X. "They allowed this. This was beneficial to them. Y'all a little late to the party and could have tried to put out this fire way before it started."
The media is running wild with this narrative, pushing it forward like there's no tomorrow, no questions asked, no fact-checking in sight. Enter Matt Walsh, who's not holding back. He's pointing the finger squarely at the media, accusing them of being complicit in what he calls a manufactured scandal. Walsh argues they're sensationalizing a crisis that may not even exist, all without verifying the claims. He's drawing parallels to other sports controversies that fizzled out to nothing, like the infamous burger scandals where the hype was bigger than the reality.
It doesn't matter what we all do as black women, we're still going to be swept underneath the rug. That's why it boils my blood when people say it's not about race, because it is.
So, what did the MVP herself, A'ja Wilson, have to say about all this when she sat down for an interview?
And the Fever are going to be over 200,000 higher than the next highest total attendance in league history. Clarkonomics, my friend.
The WNBA is scrambling to douse flames, issuing statements condemning the recent comments and promising swift action. On paper, it sounds like the right move, but Matt Walsh isn't buying it. He's questioning the effectiveness of these measures, especially when there's no concrete evidence backing the claims. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. As this drama plays out, the WNBA is actually experiencing a surge in growth. We're talking the highest average game viewership in 24 years, an incredible milestone. Yet, instead of basking in this success,
You have to be careful when you say like the Fever fans, because I don't think it's the Fever fans. I think it's the people that wanted Caitlin Clark to be a certain type of way and they thought that she was. And so they became Caitlin Clark fans, assuming that. And then they realized like, oh no, she's actually not racist.
the entire situation is tearing at the fabric of the WNBA, creating a rift among the players. On one side, you have outspoken stars like Angel Reese and A'ja Wilson, who are unwavering in their support of the claims. But then there are others, who are staying eerily silent. Why? Are they avoiding controversy, or do they simply see things from a different angle? When asked if she's ever encountered anything like this, one player responded with a firm, "No, never." But is that the full story? The fans, too, are feeling the tension. Some are passionately backing the players who've come forward, while others are raising eyebrows, questioning the legitimacy of the accusations. It's as if everyone is caught in the eye of a storm of accusations, counterclaims, and mixed emotions. No one knows how this will all shake out. Is this a defining moment in sports history? A turning point where the WNBA and perhaps sports journalism itself faces a reckoning? Or is it simply a storm in a teacup, bound to fade away once the dust settles?
Nobody in our league should be facing any sort of racism, hurtful, disrespectful, hateful comments and threats. Those aren't fans, those are trolls, and it's a real disservice to the people in our league, the organization, the WNBA.
Just when it seemed like the WNBA drama couldn't reach new heights, Caitlin Clark steps into the spotlight and things take a wild turn. The tension had been mounting. Fans and critics alike were all asking, would Clark play it safe like so? Many rookies before her staying quiet in the face of controversy? Or would she carve out her own path and speak her truth? Well, she didn't keep us waiting long. When Clark finally broke her silence, her words hit like a thunderclap, sending shockwaves throughout the league. She didn't sugarcoat anything, delivering a response that was as bold as it was unexpected.
But there are a lot of really good fans, whether they've been fans for 20 plus years or whether they're new fans in our league.
Can you believe it? Caitlin Clark isn't buying into the drama. Instead of playing along with the narrative, she's boldly calling out the bad actors without lumping all the fans into one category. But she doesn't stop there. Clark flips the script and offers a heartfelt shout-out to both new and longtime fans. She's quick to point out, there are a lot of really good fans, whether they've been with us for 20 years or just joined the league's journey. In the midst of all the controversy, she's taking a moment to express gratitude toward the fans who've supported her, even with the chaos swirling around. It's like she's walking a razor-thin line.
To uplift this league in a very positive light is the best thing that we can do, because there are so many great players, there's so many great teams, there are so many positive storylines that can be written and celebrated, and for me, that's why I became a fan of this league, is these people were my idols. I grew up wanting to be like them.
It's like Caitlin Clark is urging everyone to focus on the positives, pushing aside the noise and highlighting the good things about the league. But here's the million-dollar question. Is she being naive, or does she have a point? Continuing. To uplift and represent this league in a positive way is the best thing we can do, she says, championing a message of unity in the face of controversy. The reactions to Clark's comments? A mixed bag, to say the least. Some fans are praising her for staying above the fray, impressed that she's refusing to play the victim card. But others? They're not convinced. They argue that Clark is out of touch, failing to grasp what her fellow players are experiencing behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Matt Walsh is soaking it all in. He's practically rubbing his hands together with glee, claiming that Clark's response proves his point about the controversy being overhyped. So here's where it gets tricky. If Clark isn't seeing what some of her peers are, what does that mean? Is this whole drama just a misunderstanding, or is there something deeper happening that we're all missing? It's a question that's fueling debates across the board.
Just too manufactured and overblown to take seriously. They're reaching to a degree that's comical and delusional at the same time. This scandal has been invented out of whole cloth by WNBA players for one reason and one reason only. They are racked with envy and resentment that the most popular player in the league is.
Hold on tight, because Matt Walsh just dropped a bombshell that's got everyone talking. Ready for this? According to him, the entire WNBA controversy isn't about racism. It's about something far more personal: envy. Here's the thing. Caitlin. Clark steps onto the court, and suddenly, the WNBA is buzzing like never before. Ticket sales are soaring, sponsors are rushing in, and the league is getting attention like it's never seen before. But Clark isn't just any player. She's a generational talent, a once-in-a-lifetime kind of star. What's more, she's white, while about 80% of the players in the league are black. That dynamic? Well, it's stirring up some serious feelings, and raising a lot of questions about race, privilege, and what happens when a new superstar enters the mix.
Really claiming is that Caitlin Clark, by bringing a bunch of white fans to the league, has naturally also brought racism. Basically, they're complaining that too many white people are watching women's basketball.
Watching women's basketball unfold today, Matt Walsh argues that some players may be feeling a bit of jealousy towards Caitlin Clark's rapid rise to stardom. Why? Because Clark is quickly becoming the face of the WNBA. Her endorsement deals, ADAL, are soaring, and some say it's making veteran players' contracts look like pocket change. Imagine this: a rookie potentially earning more off the court than seasoned pros are making on it. It's a game changer, and it's not just about Caitlin Clark. This is about the WNBA navigating some serious growing pains. The league is evolving, but not everyone is happy with how things are shifting. You've got players who've been putting in the work for years, grinding through tough seasons, and now this rookie steps in and changes the entire landscape.
For long, people start to push back. No normal person wants to pay money to support a team only to be told that they're racist and horrible for doing it. It's a big part of why the DEI grift has begun to collapse.
Soon enough, the backlash starts rolling in. Nobody wants to shell out money to support a team only to be labeled as racist or villainized for their fandom. It's a bitter pill to swallow for fans who just want to enjoy the game. This tension is a huge reason why the whole DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion push is starting to lose its momentum. When the fans feel alienated, the foundation starts to crack.
Clear that, none of these players or executives or sports journalists really want the league to succeed anyway. To borrow an adage from the world of sports commentary, you might even say that the WNBA is like a rubber band, one that's been stretched to the limit by pathological narcissists who only know how to complain and demean their own fans on the basis of their skin color. And one deranged sports podcast and self-pitying press conference at a time, that rubber band is about to break.
This isn't something exclusive to the WNBA. Across sports, whenever there's a shift, new stars rise, dynamics change, controversy often follows. Issues of representation, star treatment, and fan loyalty emerge in every league. It's the growing pains of progress. So, where does this leave the WNBA? They're at a crossroads, caught between maintaining their core, loyal fan base and embracing the influx of new attention and popularity. It's a tricky balancing act. Right now, it seems like they're teetering, trying to keep everyone happy while navigating a rapidly changing landscape. How long can they keep it all in balance before something gives? How the WNBA handles this moment could shape the league for years to come. Caitlin Clark is bringing in fans like never before, but her rise to stardom is sparking difficult conversations about race, sports culture, and human nature. Experts argue the WNBA is sitting on a golden opportunity to expand. But there's a major catch. The ongoing drama could easily backfire if mishandled. We've seen similar scenarios in other sports. Some controversies have catapulted leagues into unprecedented success, while others have caused them to crumble. Now, the WNBA is caught in the same whirlwind of challenges that have shaken up other major sports. The question remains, will the league navigate these stormy waters and come